Welcome, Anna. It is my pleasure personally to get connected for last few weeks. I had a thrilled experience with you to understand as a compassionate leader how you just handle and then take it forward the newcomer. It is an enriching experience. My grateful thank you for all the services what you have just given to handled me. Personally, I'm just blessed to be with you today. Thank you so much. Greetings, one and all, and good morning and bonjour, and welcome to the session to bring all of you today. And we have excellent leader with us who have just spent more than 3 decades in the Canadian government services, where she has just started in humble way in the services, but she has just become a leader and worked most of the divisions right from the CRA and skills and development and IRCC, all the departments. So she been as a director, strategist, operation excellent provider. She has just been and then seen everything. And when she came to know about us, where we are trying to build the community to help the newcomers, college people, and everybody, equality for everybody, and tech professional is for everybody. She said that I can be a mentor and I can just help you whatever I can, just be a guide to bring all of us into the same page. Because whenever we come to a new country, we lost with overwhelmed of information. We don't know where to do, what to do, etc. I believe this session is going to become a step one for all of us to know the consolidated information together to start our journey. And going forward, the step two, we would be more than happy to facilitate whatever we are looking for. With that, I would like to give a little intro about Anna Anadiasis. Sorry, Anna, if I'm just pronouncing, I'm just going to get apologies for us in case if I'm pronouncing wrong. So, little about Anna, just to make sure we are all in the knowing about who is the great person today we are talking to. Anna has a passion throughout her professional career has been helping people, contributing to outcome that help build Canada and engaging members of her community with a positive, inclusive, and collaborative approach. Currently, after post retirement, her goal and objective is to share her expertise, experience, and ideas in an open dialogue that fosters action learning in an inclusive environment. Her skill set, as I was just mentioning, she just have a variety of skill set and deeper skill set in the external service delivery, community outreach, and official languages. She also just works on the English, French, and Italian, where she was also handling the different labor standards and employment equity in all those departments too. And she holds the bachelor's of arts degree from University of Toronto and in political science, and French is her major and English is her minor. And she also just shortly after graduating worked in the federal public service of Canada. But for 33 years she has been noteworthy leader in the public service government space. Of the 33 years, she has spent 23 years in the management roles at various level. For the last 15 years, she occupied her four diverse executive roles as a director in the Ontario region and has been honored with awards and recognition for her contribution to external service delivery and regulatory compliance of federal workplace safety and standards. Anna currently resides in Richmond Hill and she enjoys gardening, fitness, reading, and mindful meditation, cycling, etc. Indeed, it is pleasure to have you, Anna, and with your support, I'm sure we are just going to rock together. Wishing you all the best to all you as well as we are excited to have you. Over to you, Anna. A few words about you.
Okay, Manjula, thank you so much. It's my pleasure and honor to be with you and your audience today. I really enjoyed our preparatory talks in advance of this session, and I think you summed it up best when you said that my passion is mentoring. My passion is to share my experience and expertise with those who are less experienced. And I do understand from your audience that we may have some working women seeking a career change. We may have post-secondary students, and we may have professionals who are working and seeking to excel in their profession. And I relate so much to each of those categories. As a working woman, married mother, throughout most of my career, I understand the importance and the challenges of balancing work and home life. I did enter the federal public service as a post secondary student recruit, and I do understand the value of arriving in a new country and what that life change must mean as the daughter myself of newcomer parents who immigrated to Canada many years ago. So I have a profound relationship with each of those experiences, and I hope to share and navigate some of my personal learnings with all of you today.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Anna, for the wonderful way to start about it. So, as we just planned, we are going to have three different segments a discussion today. One is about newcomers who are just landing. How are they going to find their first step to find their career? And we are also going to talk about the college students, the entry level as well as during the college. How can they enrich their experience through a lot of co-ops or the internship part of it? And the third segment, we are also going to talk about women who are not working right now on the sabbatical due to some reason, wanted to come back, how Canada is going to help us. So let's just start with the newcomers first and tell us the how do we do? We went for 1.5 months. I'm also as a newcomer, but for a different purpose. So probably we all will be able to resonate. Please go ahead.
Okay, so newcomers to Canada who would like to work in jobs, specifically that require a license or certificate, must have their foreign licenses and certificates recognized in Canada. The process of verifying that the training, education, and/or experience obtained in another country meet the federal, provincial, or territorial standards is called foreign credential recognition. And there are going to be a number of websites that will be shared with you throughout this session that I will be referencing. And perhaps afterwards as well, Manjula can share that. So all of this information, just want to preface, is publicly available information. So none of this is, a secret. It's all out in the open. It's public access. And it's just through the benefit of my working with these websites that I'm happy to find them and share them with you today. So, foreign credential recognition, there is a website that you can look at. That's very, very important. So, secondly, I wanted to talk about learning about the services in Ontario to help you continue working in your profession or trade. There is the province of Ontario has its own dedicated resources and websites as well on how to work in your specific profession or trade. Ontario also has a number of resources and supports to help connect newcomer job seekers with employers. And that's a specific page on the Ontario site called Jobs and Employment. One resource that I've been happy to know about in the past is called 211. 211 is a helpline. It's a helpline that easily connects people to the social services program and community supports they need. And the website is 211ontario.ca. This includes a variety of information tailored to specific client needs. For example, there is a whole section dedicated to newcomers. And at one, almost like a one stop shop, you can access language classes for newcomers, services for professionals trained in foreign countries to find work in their occupation or related field. This may include work experience, placement, mentoring, language testing, and volunteer opportunities. So I can't say enough good things about this 211 helpline. Also, a wonderful resource that you can look for jobs with good employers is something called Canada's Top 100 Employers. So, Canada's Top 100 Employers are screened on a number of different levels and categories, and these are the best of the best. So, if you click on Find Jobs at Canada's Top 100 Employers. Again, that resource will be shared with you. You know that you're accessing opportunities with Canada's top employers. Also important while you're looking for employment, it's very important to know about all the benefits and credits for newcomers to Canada. So watching, I would recommend just as a start because it can be overwhelming when you see these websites. There's so much information out there. I would start with watching a YouTube video that the Canada Revenue Agency has in multimedia and multi-language form that helps you understand as a newcomer, even if you just arrived and even if you have no income, you might be eligible for benefits and credit payments. And again, there's some websites and a telephone number that will be shared. You might be eligible, for example, for the Canada Child Benefit, the Goods and Services Harmonized Sales Tax Credit, and other related provincial and territorial programs. I want to talk also a little bit about the importance of mentoring. Manjula talked about that as my passion, and I've been involved with mentoring for probably 25 years now. Mentoring is a low cost, high impact learning activity for everyone by creating no risk opportunities to probe and practice critical success skills, such as goal setting, networking, creating an accomplishments inventory, skills assessment, and encouraging boosting skills with activities such as small projects or volunteering. I do want to share a little bit about my personal mentoring initiative right now. I volunteer with a lovely organization called Mothers to Daughters, which is a not for profit social enterprise whose goal is to help bridge the gap of lived experience between women among different generations. Okay, so I think that's probably where I'll sort of take a pause. There's a lot of information out there to support newcomers at the federal, provincial, and territorial level in Canada. A lot of effort, a lot of dedication and effort goes into supporting and helping to settle newcomers in Canada.
Lovely. So happy to just hear your detailed discussion, Anna. But just to make it's while you're talking, I'm excited, but then it is easy for people to maneuver in a step-by-step manner as well. So probably we will take one resource at a time to just give them. I can just walk through the way you have just did in the order. I'm happy to do that. The first one we were talking about is it, should I just go in the order what you have given, or
Sure. Yeah, no, yeah, that would be great. So that would be the foreign credential recognition program.
exactly, right? The
Hmm.
foreign credential part of it. So we will just push it across that link to them for first to know about it. This foreign credential is going to tell about it in any country. Even if you have just got your credits of any of the things, would be really applicable for you to correlate, because most of the time what people are just experiencing when they come, they need the Canadian experience and they just
Yeah.
get lost on knowing about it. Hey, I don't have, what should we do about it? So this
Hmm.
helps them to map their existing experience, can be mapped to what the industry level standard what they are looking for. That is
Yeah.
point number one. And the point number two is just going to be, even if they just need the experience to be mapped, there is something called transferable skills we are talking about, right?
Absolutely.
I just want you to spend on it, maybe taking an example of a different profession. Let's just talk about someone come from healthcare, somebody from manufacturing, come somebody would have just worked on a multiple level, maybe accountant and sales and
Hmm.
IT, whatever it is. So with that, what is that a Canadian employers are expecting that as a transferable skills?
So transferable skills. When I think of transferable skills, I think of skills such as, well, in they tend to be talked about as soft skills, or they could be called leadership competencies or personal suitability attributes. They go by many names. So things like dependability, communication, those would be examples of transferable skills. Communication is huge. So in Canada right now, understanding different modes of communication, is just as important as having the technical knowledge and skills. Another area would be strategic thinking. That's a very important skill because it's not a skill that everyone can demonstrate. But if you can tie in some of your experience with being able to demonstrate to a prospective employer that you can think broadly and long term, that would be an example of a transferable skills that exists in every profession. Every profession provides opportunities to think strategically, to communicate. So those would be, and behavioral traits as well, such as values and ethics. Values and ethics in Canada is very paramount, having a high ethical standard. And again, these are transferable skills that can be demonstrated in any job in any country.
Awesome. Thanks for just sharing the information about what is transferable skill. It is basically a soft skill, or even I would say that if I am a client executive connected with the communication as well as the sales part of it, and I'm just looking for here as an administrator, I should be able to project that, hey, I was just doing ABC over there, and it is applicable for this job too.
So that is a great example of why having a mentor when you're trying to develop a plan for yourself. Having one of the things a mentor, a one-on-one mentor does for you is to try to do exactly what you said. Identify a skills inventory, an accomplishments inventory, and then try to match that with the goals that one has when one arrives.
Right. So that's amazing to just know about it, where we can just map and then build the different skills over here into a different job. Is that mean should we also prepare a different resumes for different jobs? What is that your thought process?
So, well, I can just speak from personal experience. I mean, there's a lot that you can read theoretically, but I'll say from my personal experience, I've changed roles at least 10 times in
Okay.
my career. So, even though I worked in the federal public service, each department is almost considered like its own entity with its own skill sets required, et cetera. So, when I counted all the different roles that I had, I definitely hit 10. So I have a lot of personal experience. And what I always used to do was customize my cover letter. I always had a cover letter, and
Okay.
that cover letter was always customized. It was never static. It was never the same.
Okay. Okay.
And then my resume actually was more static. So I found that once I was able to hone an excellent two-page resume, it was actually my cover letter that changed more so than my resume. My resume, sometimes I would tweak it depending on certain things I wanted to highlight, but for the most part, it's an employment record. And and once you have a format done, I found for me, like I kept it, I just kind of updated it every year to make sure it was current. But my cover letter is what I spent most of my time editing and adapting to each role that I wanted to apply for, because that's really like my introduction to the employer.
Awesome. That was a great input, right? Keeping the resume, more or less adding a little tweak on the
Hmm.
keywords or the new skills, what you have just added, it's going to be a little, very, very minimal changes as long as you prepared a well drafted one with the guidance
Yeah,
of someone, right? That
yeah.
becomes the standard.
And that's a big upfront time investment. That took me, quite a bit of time to actually develop a good resume, because most people want to write 5-page resumes, and when in fact most employers appreciate a crisp, concise 2-page resume, for example.
Yeah. So that's one part of it. Thanks for just sharing. And also here, I also understood people also look at the LinkedIn profile, a more authentic one to just look at that who you are, what you are. How about your thought process on that?
On the LinkedIn profile.
LinkedIn is it resume and the LinkedIn should just go hand in hand?
I think LinkedIn, for me, LinkedIn is, I consider it a great networking platform and a learning platform and a connector. So, how you present yourself on LinkedIn would be almost like a written version of how you would present yourself to an employer or to at an interview, for example. So definitely, maybe less detail and more about your essence. Like, who are you in three statements or less, kind of thing.
Awesome. Right. So now you taken to a next topic which we wanted to talk about, the interview, right? The interview part of it. So before we just get into the interview, after you're just preparing the resume and keeping ready, would it be a good pointer for us to know the references who can just recommend us or get connected? How is that helps in finding a job?
So most employers expect you to provide two references, either at or shortly after the interview or as part of the interview process. So it's very important to identify at least two people, one of whom recognizes or understands your work history, and that
Okay.
is within the last 5 years. No one wants a reference from 10 years ago.
Okay.
Recent, and again, I know we talked a little bit about having Canadian experience. So for even, it could be someone who, if you're in a volunteer opportunity, that volunteer supervisor would be an excellent reference if it's current, and that person can speak to your skills and abilities. So that's what people are looking for. Like, is this person trustworthy? Is this person dependable? Who can I talk to here, not make a long distance call, but who can I actually pick up the phone and call in Canada that can, give me a good overview of that within the last, 2 to 5 years, preferably the last 2 years. So having recent experience in Canada, and again, it doesn't have to be paid. Volunteering opportunities can exist in Canada everywhere. Everyone's looking for a pair of helping hands. Hospitals, nursing homes, crisis centers, sports and recreation programs, homeless shelters, and food banks. Those are just a few examples. And I read about an amazing story about in my own community about a man whose wife passed away, and he did not have food. So he went to a food bank and he was able to get his one meal a day. So then what happened was the food bank told him about a community grocery, which was free. So he started going there for his second meal. Then he started volunteering. And then before you knew it, he was working there as a volunteer full time. And then he was just recently recognized as a top volunteer. So just as an example of how in Canada there's always, a lot of events that happen, especially in the summer, and it's almost like having a job interview. So being a volunteer in Canada has as many stringent requirements as finding a job. So employers know if you've been vetted by a volunteer organization, then that is just as valuable as paid employment.
That is interesting to know about it. Getting into the volunteer also requires a great scrutiny to be a part of the journey is
Oh,
a valuable
yes.
insight, right? So is that mean choosing two ways, right? Even the organization is going to look for you to make you as a volunteer with some insights. It's just not going to be random.
No, it's not random. No. I've been, since I retired, I've been going through the volunteer interview process myself.
Oh,
And it's a slow process. So I would say start as early as you can, because it involves interviews, it involves police record checks, criminal checks.
oh,
It's
okay.
it's quite, yeah, it's quite involved. And then once you go through that process, you get put into an inventory, and then you can find the opportunities that match your availability, because it's not good to overcommit and underdeliver. It's better to underpromise and overdeliver. So it's always better to say to a volunteer organization, this is what I'm available to do. And you can also ask for the kind of work that you want to do as well. It's okay to ask. If you're a volunteer, it's good to be passionate about what you're volunteering, not just to do volunteer work that you don't enjoy.
Awesome. Yes, yes, yes. This is a good insight for us. Any newcomers comes and they can just put their effective time as a volunteer to just figure it out where they can just spend and then get into that. So that's
Hmm.
way, right? Okay, fine. So now let's just take a little segue to just get into the next part of the discussion, what we are talking about, right? So sometime what happens when they are a newcomers, they also need to know about finding the earning potential as soon as possible, because that's also another good criteria. If that is
Hmm.
the case, where they can just go. I just heard about it, a couple of things which you were talking about. 211 is a great source where we can just connect and know more about it. And somewhere the other question comes for a people is they all come as a work permit. In fact, this was one of the question asked by the we gave the queries to be answered by you. So one of the question was this person is just went to the US, stayed in 10 years, and then came back to Canada. Now she is in a work permit and she wanted to know about it. How do I find my job? I'm clueless, right? So if this is a scenario, how do we just give her the step by step guide to just move forward?
Yeah, yeah. For me, I think the resources I provided are a good start. I really like the 211. To me, that's why it's called a helpline, because if you're here and you really don't know where to turn, you need a helpline. So for me, my first resource for that individual scenario would be the 211 helpline, mainly because, and I'm going also by my parents' experiences as well, having a community supporting you. And again, in Canada we have a lot of settlement resources, a lot, and they're delivered through settlement organizations. Usually these are not-for-profit organizations that get some funding from various sources, including government. So those settlement organizations can become your community. And so, doing that 211 Ontario search, if you're in Ontario, this is specifically for Ontario, by the way, it is really important. If you're outside of Ontario, I would suggest going to the Job Bank.
Okay.
Um, yeah, Job Bank is Canada's national employment service.
Okay.
It's available as a website and a mobile app that you can download on your phone, and it helps everyone in Canada find work and plan their careers. Everyone.
Lovely.
It's
Lovely.
inclusive. It's an inclusive tool.
Awesome. Right. So this is the two resources where the moment they just land, they can also just start
Yeah.
looking for that. How do we make that connections to just look into that? All right. And
Hmm.
other resources I found it interesting is while you're just saying about 211, there are a great supporting like a non-profit organization within a few kilometers of their stay wherever they are. So they are able to go and connect to a multiple place to just get engaged as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. There's also Service Canada centers.
Okay.
Service Canada centers help to provide information about benefits and programs in your community as well.
Okay.
And there are many Service Canada centers across the country. So that's another national resource.
Mm, mm. I was
That,
mentioning that only, so I didn't get that name. So probably you just picked it up as usual. The
yeah,
right. It is a servicecanada.ca which we are talking about.
Service Canada centers. Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's we didn't talk about it in advance, but you can simply look up a resource called Find a Service Canada Center. And then if you put in your postal code, it will tell you all the ones within, 15, 25 kilometers.
True, true, true. Right. So this is a good way for any newcomers to just start and looking for that. But the other question we probably will be getting into that something is available only for the PRs and only for
Yeah,
not available for international students or something like that.
correct.
A little
Yeah.
clarity on that.
So in all of these websites and all of these tools, the one thing I would pay particular attention to, and most of the websites have something called eligibility criteria.
Okay.
So before you get too involved in in anything, I would read all the fine print right to the bottom. And usually that's where it is, right at the bottom, where it says this program is only open to. And that's because there are, there's legislation. It's embedded in law. It's not, arbitrary. So And it's really important when you're looking at all these websites. For example, the job bank, there's a section called Canada Summer Jobs. Well, if you were a student, you would think, oh, that's perfect for me. However, if you go to the bottom, it clearly says that Canada Summer Jobs program is not open to international students. However, there are plenty of jobs in the job bank. There are over 200,000 employers who use the job bank and hire through the job bank, and about 100,000 job seekers who visit the job bank every day. So there are plenty of jobs out there for everybody. But what is important is determining especially if you're a newcomer, you have to follow whatever criteria your permits and status provide you. And if you follow that, there's enough jobs and opportunities for everyone. But of course, when you're a newcomer, you want to adhere to the standards of your stay.
Right. So what we are just saying is the job bank is a go-to place to find a
Yeah.
job immediately for a different segments, whether they are a newcomers, where they are a working professional, or they are the college students. They do have a exclusive information for them to find opening jobs and then apply for that. That's what I'm just understanding.
There's
And
also job fairs as well. So, yeah, there's a lot of job fairs. That's a popular activity in Canada is a job fair. They're given or hosted by different people. They could be employers. They could be your local member of parliament. Sometimes host job fairs. So it's really good to know who your local member of parliament and member of provincial parliament. There's two jurisdictions who they are and stay in touch with their newsletters because they often will host job fairs. As well as Employment Ontario will host job fairs. Employment Ontario is also in the community in physical centers. And even sometimes just walking around your neighborhood, or bicycling around your neighborhood, you can see a lot of them will put up signs. So it's really important to get out there and not just assume that although we have amazing technology, there's nothing wrong with hitting the pavement with your 2 feet or your bicycle or the bus and just looking around. There's a lot of advertisements in Canada that occur on lawns, with signs. So just want to mention that because that's still a popular method of advertisement here.
true, true. I completely resonate with you, and it just happens. It's all about keeping our eyes and ears open to just look into that, what we are just getting into that and gaining the insights about that. So, is it a good time to just open up a job bank and then show to the audience
Sure.
what and how we should just do that?
Well,
Yeah,
since we're talking about it, I think it's a great idea.
to do that, okay, I will just start sharing my screen and let's just see how it just goes. Is Is my screen is visible? Please let me know so that I'm good to go over there.
I can see your screen.
Okay, fine. Right. So Canada.ca. No, job bank. We were just looking
Yeah,
for a job bank.
job bank dots.
Job
There it is. Yeah,
bank. Yeah. Right. So
and
that's
just a caution. In you have to be very aware that there are copycats out there, so you have to make sure you have the correct URL at the top, because when you just do a Google search, for example, sometimes you get 12 different job banks, but not necessarily this one.
okay. Yeah.
Just because it's a common term, I just want to mention on this one, it's really important that you type in the correct address.
Yes, yes. Even you corrected me even in my LinkedIn post when I was just posting it, saying that this is the correct one. I should be using it. Yeah. I
But
thank.
it's understandable, right? So I just wanted to caution. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's right. Thanks for just once again just telling us for us as well, so that everybody understands that. Right. So we just wanted to pick up something for information IT developer probably if they are looking for something on the
Sure.
Canada part of it. I'll just all of Canada probably I'll just start just to show this is nothing to do with Ontario. It is for entire
Nope.
Canada. They
It's
can
national. Yeah.
yeah okay they can just do into that. I'm just doing a search over here. So this is the total jobs available for each of them with the hourly rate and where and everything. They can just look at.
Maybe zoom in just a touch. Maybe zoom in a bit, a little bit. Okay, that's good. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. So, and it also in the left, it just gives in each of the provinces what is the list of jobs available for each of them. And if they belongs to Ontario, then they can click Ontario and then get Ontario specific details.
Or maybe people want to move to Nova Scotia,
Ah,
or Northwest Territories. There's two whole jobs in Northwest Territories.
yeah, so even the territory wise or the provinces wise, if they wanted to just go for
Yeah.
it, they can also just look into that one. And again, I'll just go to the one of the example just to click that to see where we are. Yeah, when we just go, it gives you the more fine print details of what are they looking for.
Maybe
And
zoom in a bit on this one.
yeah,
There's a lot of tiny print. Okay, there we go.
yeah, okay, that they there is an experience it talks about what responsibilities they're supposed to do and what experience and specialization they are looking for in IT for them to get into that. And that's it, and with that they who can be applied. So here is a Canadian PR, even a temporary resident of Canada are eligible to apply as long as you have a valid work permit. So this is the one way.
That's a great see, and that's an excellent example. Very clear. It tells you, even with that red, exclamation mark, pay attention to this. So it's very, very clear. And it tells you the advertised date. So it's only advertised until June 6th.
Yes, yes, yes. So after that, it is not going to be visible for them to just look into.
That's really important. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So this is how they can just go and look at that the opportunities are available and then pick it up. And yesterday we were also looking at the employers segment as well, isn't it? We just go over here?
Under hire, yeah, well, you could do that. Or you mean as an employer?
No, first we'll finish off the career planning,
Oh,
then
yeah.
we can move on to that. Yeah.
Okay. Job
So
profiles.
job profiles, okay, right. Maybe I can just take it as HR here. HR man.
I think they don't like acronyms, so I think you have to put in human resources.
Oh, okay, fine. Human resource.
And which is good. I mean, so you could do officer manager, human resources manager. Okay,
Yeah,
good.
and probably I'll just push it around to just since we're talking about here. Yeah. Okay. So this is other good part of it, right? It also just gives for these kind of a job, what is the job market here? The prospects part of it. It just gives you it's good, it's really a good prospects. And there are 63 jobs are available as a managers to look into that. And this is the wages for each of them. They are looking for a skill. And this is the other great input for all of us to look at that. What is that it's all about? Is there more to add, Anna? Am I missing anything?
No, I think you covered it really, really well.
Okay, fine. So let me just give the view prospects for them to just look at that so that even more give a deeper dive for them to look at that. What is the next 3 years this job is going to look if you're going to be there? How is your job market? And where are the exactly the similar profession where we are able to figure it out? That also just gives a clarity if at all we are looking for knowing is it a good way to venture into this career altogether to just start. And this will just tell us to pick up the volunteer and gain your experience and slowly get into this job market as well. Right, right. So this is the one. And yesterday we were also looking for the little bit on the healthcare as well.
Yes, healthcare is a good field,
Health offices, right? Okay.
especially with what the world has been going through in the past. This is definitely an in-demand field.
Mm, right. Again, this is another good. Four jobs are available over there. Okay. How do we do all the jobs? So they can just look at that. There is a Canada, there are 28 job posting. In Ontario, it is a four job postings available. And these are all the regions where they are posted over here.
Hmm.
Maybe in London, if I just click that.
Yeah, London's a nice city in Ontario, Southern Ontario. Always sunny. I
Oh,
always
okay.
called it the London is like the sunny south.
Oh, okay. So I should find the place there over there to go and stay for some time. Right. So this is the other way to just look into the job bank for you to look at that details of it, what career you're looking for, and also it has got a skills checklist also for us to know what is that skill we should possess. This is another great tool for us to look at our career planning. How do we do that? You can put a maximum of one or two skills and see whether what are all the entry criteria, and to just hone ourselves and then getting into that. So that's another way to look into that. Fair enough. Mm.
So I'm just noticing at the top, Manjula, it says for optimal results to select 15 to 25 items.
Ah, okay.
15 to 25.
Okay, 15 to 25. Let me just pick it up something operating or fine arts, library, or something like that. Math, but so that all the combination will just try something different. Engineering, computer, business, client servicing, marketing, sales, management, recruitment. I think we will just check now. No, I know I don't.
So I think with this particular page, this probably requires a little bit more, I guess, grouping. So I think probably grouping certain skills would be best. Like, so I think the left side are the skills, the right side is the knowledge.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think I'm noticing that
Oh,
here. The
yeah,
left
the
side
knowledge and the
is skills.
knowledge. Oh, okay, fine. So probably we'll choose one of this like this and then see. Communication, I'll choose everything. So probably we'll just look at that. Yep, you're right.
Yeah,
Right. So if we have this skill and this knowledge, where is this
yeah.
job title? You can figure it out. Yeah, makes sense.
And
Right.
there you go. You could be a retail and wholesale buyer with all this random skills you identified, or a sales and account rep.
Rep as well, right? So this is where it is. Okay, fair enough. So this that's another tool just to play around and then figure it out where this, what is whatever our skill and knowledge, which job we can match it across over there.
I feel like the career planning tool is really great for working women seeking a career change and also for college students as well.
Yeah.
That I think this particular tool is really handy for those two client segments.
Exactly. They can just look at that their previous experience or their interest and etc. They can
Hmm.
put it across and figure it out where they can just make it a best use of it. Yeah, makes sense. Yeah. So this covers the career planning part of it. Then we also just spoke about yesterday the employers. Who are all the employers, or how do we just go about it? Just tell us some light on that, Anna. We will just go through that.
So, okay, so I actually one over to the right is called hiring. So this is for employers who want to post a position. This is also not just a tool for job seekers, but it's a great tool for businesses and owners and employers who want to hire employees.
All right.
And they can use this for free.
True.
And what's wonderful is that because this service is diversity and inclusion are key drivers in building a welcoming and barrier-free labor market. This encourages employers to also hire a diverse workforce. In
Super.
Canada, that is a priority. It always has been. And this tool makes it easier for employers to maximize and optimize diversity and inclusion in their workforce.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So that's
Yeah.
and so yeah, here you can also just give us another segue for individually to look at that, hire a newcomers, how do we go, hire a youth, how do we
Yeah.
go,
And
kind
you
of.
can see it's also targeted to client segments as well.
Yes, yes, yes. Right. So now let's just get into the college students. How do we just help them to just look at their volunteer and a job part of it? How do we go about?
Okay, so for students, transitioning from school to work,
Mm.
I always like to talk about not just the opportunities, but also the funding opportunities as well. So there's something called the Canada Student Loans and Grants.
Okay.
So this is for students who want to continue with their education. That helps them save, budget, and explore student aid and career options.
Okay.
It also includes great information for international students to be able to apply to study in Canada and to also extend their study permit. And it also includes information for newcomers, such as education ministries, types of schools, classrooms, registering kids, adjusting to school, getting involved, adult education, and post secondary schools. So it's a great website called the Canada Student Loans and Grants.
Awesome.
Uh, yeah, another excellent program is called Trades and Apprenticeship Program. In Canada, there's a lot of emphasis being put on helping individuals who are interested to become an apprentice, train, and find a job in something called a Red Seal trade. And there's a list of skilled trades. That's just an umbrella term. There is a list if you go into the website, and this program will help to become an apprentice. So, other information for students, again, Canada puts a great priority to help youth and students get the skills they need to start their careers. There is a link called Student Job Training, which includes information for students on learning new skills, gaining experience, and making a difference in their community by volunteering.
Okay.
I think you also showed Volunteer Canada's website, which is a registered charity. It provides national leadership and expertise on volunteering.
Okay.
Again, the job bank is, and that's one of the reasons I think you focused on the job bank, is that it applies to all interested parties in Canada.
Okay.
There's also something called the Youth Digital Gateway, which helps young people prepare for their future. It also includes volunteering opportunities, planning education, getting help with resumes, preparing for an interview, and finding the right job. Also, a great website for youth to find a mentor is mentoringcanada.ca.
Right.
Very important for any, again, you're going to notice a couple of themes: volunteering, mentoring, those are cross cutting for all client segments. So
Right.
that's where I would start if I was a student. And again, don't underestimate the importance of your university resources as well. One of the reasons I got into my roles in the public service was because they were advertising jobs on the career center of my university. So that's another great resource is university themselves.
Lovely. Yes, right. So that's a good thing. So again, if there is a few minutes, I would like to showcase the websites for them so that they know what we are talking about, so that they get a handful insights about it. Allow me to just give another few minutes to show that, Anna. I'll just do that. Yeah. Is my screen is visible again?
Not, yes, now it
Yes.
is.
Okay, fine. Right. So this is where we were talking about the student, the benefits part of the student aid and education planning. So the students can just come over there and then look at that. What is the loan they can just look forward, and how do we look for their employment data over here, and if they are the international student, what we can just do about it, and all those information here it is available. And this is the other one which Anna was talking about, digital gateway for youth to find the jobs or finding the volunteers to just become volunteer and get into that is another site. They all can just get into that and figure it out where they wanted to do, especially if the college students are the year one, year two, another 2 more years or 1 more year to go. These are all the sites will help them to build their credential. Eventually you can call this as a Canadian experience when you start working from here. Look at the job to pick from here as a opportunities for every college students. And mentoringcanada.ca, as Anna was talking about, this is just not for college students, even a working professional or a sabbatical professional. who we are looking for. We can find great mentors over here to find the mentors and virtually get connected, and you can become a mentor, or you can also ask become a mentee. All those things would be a easy solution over here to just go forward. That's it. These are all the any other sites you were referring, Anna, to just show to them?
No, I think you showed the main ones. I think, like we talked about in the beginning, there's so much out here. There's so many resources. It's almost sometimes knowing where to start, and having a goal, and then literally trying to focus on one or two sites and digging deep in those sites. Just taking that first step is important.
True. So what we are just planning to do that with this session, whatever you have given, we are going to make this as a resource a sheet, the cheat sheet for them to just look into that. We are just going to put it across for everybody to access. And followed by that, we are also thinking of connecting with them one on one, because that's a best way to help them, at least some of the community members, what we learn to just guide them. And once they get it, they can go and spread the same thing to others as well. That's how the community gets built, right? We will just try to just do that, and at the end of it, few people we can just able to bring them and build more people in the community. I think that would be our success story for our session. And you seeded the session, and thanks for seeding the great session for us, Anna.
Oh, you're welcome.
Right. So there is one question is coming from Deepthi. If these organizations cater only to citizens and PR people, then what will be applicable for people on work permits and students looking out for jobs? Anna, would you like to take
So, yeah, so I mentioned earlier that there are, while certain programs may have eligibility criteria that, there's a preference, or the criteria is citizens and permanent residents. There are so many jobs out there. And again, the job bank is a great tool to start. And settlement organizations as well are very skilled, and Employment Ontario. All of the resources provided here ensures that diversity and inclusion are here for everyone. That's a commitment. And just to be aware that some programs, not all organizations, some programs are, restricted perhaps, or have a preference, but not all. So there's a lot, plenty of work to go around, and plenty of openings.
True, true. I agree. So it's just the matter of spending some time to do the
Yeah,
research and then find out where to get that sweet spot and do. And probably the other way would be the mentoring, and the 211 is also another great resource if we are getting overwhelmed and we don't know. Could be we can
yeah.
also connect and then get to know more about it. And the other one you were talking about is Canada.ca provides the, I was saying that, what is that? That the service centers which you
Oh, the
are
Service Canada centers. Yes,
Service
Service Canada
Canada
center.
Center. Yes, yeah. So
Yeah.
that's the three places where we can keep it as a ready reckoner for us, yeah, to look at that. 211 and mentor.ca and Canada Service Centers. These are all the easy way to start our journey and come to the step two. The step one is consolidate all the group information and find out where do we navigate. And step two, connect with people. And one more thing, I just wanted to share it. Anna, we just got connected through LinkedIn. That's a
That's
great way,
true.
because we never knew each other before, but then this is how
No,
we just reached out, and then a couple of queries, and then when we know about the intent, it becomes even more clear that hey, this is something where we can just work together, right? So that way also LinkedIn is a great way where we can start connecting and building the connection. And if people are not able to respond, I will normally take it in two way. One, they don't have a time and they are busy, and sometimes they would have missed it out also because of their other work pressure, right? So it is up to us to just, rather than thinking oh they are not responding, it is up to us to say that we will give a benefit of doubt. They are busy and they missed it, we will once more go and knock the door. I think
that's
that
true.
will help us to build that connection, and they also see the consistency and the persistence of what we are just trying. That was one part of it. And from last time when we had a Nyla session, and she also gave a great insights. When we are asking for a time, don't ask for 30 minutes. It's a too long time for people to do that. 5 to 10 minutes is good enough to share your intent and know that both of you are resonating with each other. 10 minutes is a bigger time, right? That was another takeaway as well. So, Anna, what is that your thought process as a professional tips where we all need to follow to find our next career journey, Anna?
I mean, for me, as I said, I've had in my 32 career, I've transitioned roles many times, and I have a great deal of empathy with your audience. So my four key lessons learned throughout my career journey have been: number one, planning and fulfilling my learning goals and needs. Plan and fulfill my learning goals and needs. Two, build and maintain proactively a network. Networks in Canada in the employment market is critical. Building your reputation step by step and making sure that no one action undermines the years of building that credibility, because it takes years to develop trust and only one action to undo it. So, values and ethics and building the relationship with trust and integrity, that has been my mainstay. Belonging to a larger group or community helps to feel connected as well. So, it's not just work, 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 but you also need a strong social network as well. Number three, rather than reacting to change and being behind the change, what I've learned the hard way is to now anticipate, where does my next change need to be? In other words, not to get too comfortable. So avoiding becoming comfortable. The second, I would feel comfortable in any role, I knew that I was stagnant, and I needed to say, okay, where's my next challenge? Where's my next adventure? Where do I need to develop an edge, a developmental edge? So anticipating and running towards it, not reacting. And number four, most important, it should be number one, is to maintain health and wellness. And that's mind and body. So that's why some of my interests are what they are, is because, I think of myself when I was, especially building my career. I look back on it now and I think of it almost as being an athlete, a corporate athlete. And there's a book written like that as well, if you're interested, called Corporate Athlete. But it's really having an athletic mindset towards your career. And athletes, number one, prioritize their health and wellness, getting good sleep, eating, socializing, and mind, health as well. It's not just body, but mind and social. So those would be my personal takeaways or my lessons learned in managing transitions in
Right.
career.
Awesome. In a nutshell, you just gave the entire playbook in a smaller way, and as you rightly doing that, everything, the planning was your core strength. I would say that I used to tell about our team whenever you just come. Look at that. This is how we should just look at that, and even for the this. Webinar preparation, your list was exhaustive, so that shows that you are walking the talk. Your planning is amazing, and I just vouch for that with the few interaction that's very well exhibited by you, and we just articulated and able to realize that such a great detail is matters a lot. Thank you so much.
You're
And
welcome.
also you've also just shared that in a nutshell, mind and body is most predominant to take care of you first. So as long as you just put that in a right perspective, the rest of your thinking and the taking action like a corporate athlete is also just helps us to lead the way what we are looking for. So wonderful and amazing session, and we really enjoyed, and thank you for your amazing webinar. Your expertise and engaging style was truly inspiring and insightful, and as usual we are grateful for making the complex topics in a simplified way. So this is cannot be done by us alone to look at that, but going through your webinar and the sheet what we are going to share, whatever you have given as a resource sheet, putting that together, it makes them to start the step one in a little easy way. That's all I would be able to say that. And thanks for just doing that once again. um, uh, Being a mentor for us is a valuable what to say, gift for us. Let me put it across. It's a valuable gift for us, and thanks for being a great gift for us to just navigate our next career journey. Thank you so much, Anna.
Oh,
Lovely.
thank you. Thank you for inviting me. It was a pleasure spending this hour with you and your audience and your lovely team. I'm so glad that we met on LinkedIn, and it just shows that there's opportunities every day to connect with like minded people and accomplish something wonderful for each other and giving back. So, thank you so much. Have a thriving Thursday, and hope to see you again.
Awesome. Yes, we should just meet again, and I'll just come back and then bug you as usual to just look at that next and help us out. So thank you so much, and
You're
looking.
welcome. It was a
Thank you
pleasure.
all, everybody, for watching us and the people who connected with us, your queries and etc. We will come back and share the resources sheets. You can also connect with us through the help desk channel, where we can just come back and look at that. The Next Innings is a website where you can watch us, and you can connect with us LinkedIn too. Whichever the way, just we are with you and happy to support you the best, whatever it is possible. Have a good day and happy Thursday. Thank you so much.